Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. As you probably by now have guessed, I called this press conference this morning to announce that we do have an indictment against Richard Beasley in the so-called Craigslist killings. Our grand jury delivered a 28-count indictment against Richard Beasley. This indictment alleges that Beasley is the principal offender, meaning he is the person who actually pulled the trigger. We arrived at this indictment after a long investigation that involved cooperation among many agencies. The Noble County Sheriff's Office and their Prosecutors Office, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, the Akron Police Department, the Summit County Sheriff's Department, and especially the Attorney General's Office and BCI have been and continue to be instrumental in constructing this case. The easiest way to go through this indictment is by victim. Victim number one, victim number one, Ralph Geiger, was a 56-year-old Akron resident. We believe he was shot and killed sometime around August 9th, 2011. Beasley is facing 3 counts of aggravated murder for Geiger's death, because the Ohio Revised Code allows us to charge 1 count for each way a particular offense was committed. This does not mean that Beasley could be sentenced 3 times for the same crime. What it means is that the jury can consider 3 theories of how and why the victim was killed and find guilt for as many theories as they believe fit that particular crime. However, the court can only sentence for 1 of those counts. Beasley purposely and with prior calculation and design caused the death of Geiger. That's the first count of aggravated murder. Beasley purposely caused the death of Geiger while committing a kidnapping, which is the second count of aggravated murder. And Beasley purposely caused the death of Geiger while committing aggravated robbery, which is the third count of aggravated murder. Each count of aggravated murder carries with it 5 specifications. The first specification alleges that Beasley used a gun to murder Geiger, and this could add 3 years to the sentence. The other 4 specifications make the count eligible for the death penalty. Should the jury find Beasley guilty of any of these, the jury would then weigh them against any mitigating factors during the sentencing phase to decide whether Beasley should be sentenced to death. The first of these death specifications is that Beasley purposely caused the death of 2 or more persons. The second specification is that Beasley murdered Geiger while committing aggravated robbery, and that he is the principal offender. The third specification is that Beasley murdered Geiger while committing a kidnapping, and that he is the principal offender. The final specification is that Beasley was on parole and a fugitive from justice when he murdered Geiger. Additionally, Beasley faces charges of kidnapping with a gun specification, aggravated robbery with a gun specification, having weapons under disability, identity theft, and theft. Victim number 2, David Polly, was a 51-year-old man from Norfolk, Virginia. The indictment alleges he was shot and killed on October 23, 2011. Beasley is facing many of the same charges for Polly's death that he faces for Geiger's death. 3 counts of aggravated murder with 5 specifications: kidnapping with a gun specification, aggravated robbery with a gun spec, having weapons under disability, and theft. Beasley also faces 2 charges of grand theft for stealing Polly's car and stealing his shotgun. Victim number 3, Scott Davis, is a 48-year-old man from South Carolina. The indictment alleges he was shot November 6, 2011, and he is the sole survivor of Beasley's crime spree. In connection with this shooting, Beasley is facing charges of attempted murder with a gun specification, kidnapping with a gun specification, aggravated robbery with a gun specification, and having weapons under disability. The fourth and final victim is Timothy Kern, a 47-year-old from Massillon. The indictment alleges he was shot and killed November 13, 2011. Beasley is facing most of the same charges for Kern's death as he is for the deaths of Geiger and Pauley. 3 counts of aggravated murder with 5 specifications, kidnapping with a gun specification, aggravated robbery with a gun spec, having weapons under disability, and theft. In total, Beasley faces 9 counts of aggravated murder with multiple specifications, 1 count of attempted murder with a gun specification, 4 counts of kidnapping with gun specifications, 4 counts of aggravated robbery with gun specifications, 4 counts of having weapons under disability, 3 counts of theft, 1 count of identity theft, and 2 counts of grand theft. The Attorney General's office has worked with Noble County. Noble County is a county of only 17,000 people. They've worked with Noble County from the beginning. When the Akron connection was discovered, my office began working very closely with the Attorney General's office. Attorney General Mike DeWine and I have decided that our offices will continue to work together to jointly prosecute this case in Summit County. There's a lot of work to be done on this case, and our collaboration will result in a more efficient and cost-effective prosecution that will bring justice to the victims of this horrible crime.